Good morning, everyone. This is Jeffy Kennedy, also writing as Jennifer K. Lambert, author of epic fantasy romance. I'm here with my first cup of coffee. Delicious. Today is, say it with me, people, it is Friday, woohoo, the 1st of May. And if you're on video today, you'll see that for no particular reason, I am a symphony in green today. Uh, yeah, I don't know why. I forget to wear green on St. Patrick's Day, but today is a green day. Today is a heavy work day. Um, I feel like it's been chaos for a couple of weeks. Those of you who've listened to me for a long time know that I'm very much a ritualized writer. And in some ways, a very ritualized person, very wedded to my routine. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day because, so part of the drama this week is that I got home Sunday night from a Polycon, and I don't think I said anything about it on Tuesday's podcast, but Killian was clearly not feeling good. He seemed to be okay on Sunday night, but then he was not feeling good on Monday morning, and I was worried about him. And I could tell that his behavior was weird, and he seemed to be in pain, and I couldn't tell why. And I thought, well, that maybe he was blocked up, constipated. And David said, oh, he thought Killian had hairballs, and that's the usual thing. And Kelly didn't seem to think much of it. Kelly was here until yesterday. And so I let it go for a couple of days. I let it go all day Monday, and he was not feeling good, wanting to sleep in this cubby in the closet. And his eyes were really watering, and he had goopy stuff around his mouth. And I Googled a few things, and I didn't see anything in particular for symptoms. And it's funny because Laura Darnell, you sent me a note, I think randomly, about some kind of virus going around for cats. Yeah, she said that bobcat fever spread by the Lone Star tick is rampant. Um, Neither of these are phrases I've heard before, neither bobcat fever nor Lone Star tick. So, yes, maybe I did mention this on Tuesday's podcast because, Laura, you sent me that like around 1 o'clock my time on Tuesday. So anyway, yeah, bobcat fever, I'm looking it up, is a tick-borne disease. The Lone Star tick, however, is prevalent in the southeast, south central, and midwest parts of the United States, uh, wooded areas. We don't have many ticks here in the southwest desert, but I appreciate the tip. And for the rest of you in those areas, watch out for that. To continue the story, though, of Killian, on Tuesday midday, he was not getting better. He would seem to get a little better, and then he would crash again, and he was clearly miserable. And yeah, so I called the vet mid morning Tuesday, and I could not get an appointment for like a week, right? But they said that they have a deal where they have same day appointments, and that if I called Wednesday morning at 7:30 in the morning, uh, right as they opened, that I could maybe get a same day appointment. Meanwhile, I had all this other stuff going on because I'd gotten back from this trip. Kelly was here. Uh, I think I told you we went to see Project Hail Mary in the afternoon. I'm trying to finish this book. On Tuesday, I did this stuff, like trying to make a plan with Killian. And then uh, Kelly moved out of the casita for one night and bunked in with me for a night because Mary Robinette Kowal was here with her husband Rob and with Elsie, who is more famous than any of us, and Guppy, the guest puppy, who is now permanent puppy. So they stayed in the casita overnight, and they brought lunch with them. So we had a lovely lunch, and sat around and chatted for a while. And then Mary Robinette fortunately had work to do also. So we worked for a few hours. And then Kelly and I cooked dinner, and we invited Arkady Martin and Vivian Shaw to come over as well. And we all had a lovely dinner. Um, I'm still working on fixing up the dining room, so it doesn't look as nice as I wanted, but at least I have a dining room now with a big table. So I'll put that picture on the show notes. It was a great dinner. It was really fun, but I felt like only half my attention was there because I was fretting about making this call at 7:30 in the morning, and I was starting to worry that Killian wasn't going to make it through the night. Because, one thing that can happen is boy cats can get their urethra backed up and they can go downhill really, really fast. But I do give them cranberry powder prophylactically. So, and he didn't seem to have a fever. So I called 7:30 Wednesday morning, got my appointment at 1 o'clock. So that was great. Still had to wait half the day. Uh, and then um, sat around, did some work, but also sat around talking with Mary Robinette and Kelly for a couple of hours that morning, which was great. I mean, these in-person conversation opportunities are rare and precious. So, but I wasn't getting as much work done as I wanted to. So I try to balance these things, right? So we had a great time sitting and talking about our careers and state of the industry and that sort of thing. And then they left. They headed back up home to Denver. And I was able to do a little bit more work and then took Killian to the vet. And I have to tell you about like this funny conversation I had with the vet tech, because they have the vet tech. It's like going to the human doctor, right? Like you have to go through the whole med tech thing first, which is, I don't know, a little irritating because like they have their scripts, they have their things that they have to go through, and so he's like going through all of the things, and for some reason they can never find Killian's vaccination records. It's like every single time they can't find it, and I don't know why. So we go through that, and he weighs Killian and takes his temperature, no fever, so I was right about that. But one of the things I told the vet was that he hadn't eaten or drunk since Sunday evening, I was sure. He was refusing water too. And at one point he went and hid in the garage because I tried to get him to take some water, and he hid in the garage where I could not find him for most of the day, and that was a little stressful also. But he finally came out. But I said that I knew that he had lost 1.5 pounds in the last 2 weeks. I weigh my cats weekly. I had not weighed him the previous Wednesday because I was flying to a polycon, but I knew he was 16.5 pounds the Wednesday before. And when I weighed him this Wednesday morning, he was 15 pounds. So, I told him that on the phone. So we weighed him, and he said, well, yeah, he weighs 15 pounds, but that's the same that he weighed last time he was here. And I kind of did the head tilt, and I'm like, yeah, but he gained weight since then, and he's lost it in the last 2 weeks. I know that for sure. And this guy is like, no, that's not right. And he even shows me the sheet. He's like, look, last time he was here, he weighed 15 pounds. And I'm like, that was a year ago? More than a year ago. This cat's turning 4 in August. He's a Maine Coon. He's still putting on mass. I mean, I said a lot of these things. And the guy goes, no, he was 15 pounds last time and he's 15 pounds now. Your scale is off by 2 pounds. That's a deliberate pause there. I'm just going to pause and let us all collectively head tilt. It was the most bizarre conversation. And I'm like, can we just get the vet in here already? So the vet came in, and she was great. She was really terrific. And she started looking at Killian's eye and said that it was bulging out a little bit. And I thought that was just like a misery thing. But she said that her cat had this, and Oh, what with the vet tech, he had tried to look in Killian's mouth, and as soon as he tried to open Killian's mouth, Killian like yeah, very loud yowl that swiped at him. And since I was kind of annoyed about the whole "your cat did not gain and lose weight" conversation, your scale must be wrong. Um, I kind of didn't mind. I was like, "Oh, I would like to yowl and swipe also." So she says that one thing that can happen is that something can go up in the roof of the mouth. She said it happens to dogs too, like a splinter, and it can get lodged up there in the sinus and behind the eye and cause an abscess. And that had happened to her cat too, who's an indoor cat. And Killian's mostly indoor. He's outdoor right now, which is great. His usual pattern. He goes out on his harness. So she said, she never figured out like what her cat did. She said the thing is she was going to have to sedate him and put him under to even be able to examine. But at that point, if there was an abscess, she'd try to lance it. And so my appointment was at 1, and one of the things I'd angsted about was I had my therapy appointment. I'm in therapy now. Have I mentioned? That's a running joke. I had my therapy appointment from 2 to 3, but amazingly enough, the therapist appointment or office is like literally across the street from the vet. And so but I was worried about, was I going to make my therapy appointment, and was I going to have to cancel, and would I have to text? And I didn't want to, because after next week, my therapist I missed last week. And then after next week, she's going out of town for like 6 weeks. She's going back to China. So I'm going to have to soldier on without her. And so I didn't want to miss my therapy appointment, but I'm also worried about my cat. And I also had a hair appointment at 3:30. My life is a nightmare, people. So I'm like, how am I balancing these things? So right now it's about 1:30, and she says I'm going to have to heavily sedate him to examine him, and then maybe try to lance this. And she said, are there some errands you can go run? And I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, my therapy appointment across the street is from 2 to 3. Can I just come back at 3? And she said, that's perfect. So I love it when the universe does this. Like, it's like, okay, this is the order of things, and don't fight these things. So I did, from my therapist's office while I was waiting, because I obviously got there a little early, texted my hairdresser and said, I'm really sorry, but I think I can't. I had to take my cat to the vet, and I don't think I can make my hair appointment. So we were able to reschedule that for next week. So, because I must be beautiful. We have priorities, people. So, have my therapy appointment, go back, and the vet meets me, and she says, so that's absolutely what the problem was. And she said that when she went in, and cover your ears, because some people don't like hearing this, but she said, usually she lances it and some fluid comes out. She said she lanced it and pus just poured out. And so I think it may have been there for a while. He's been fussy about his mouth. I'm thinking for maybe 2 years, and we thought he was just fussy about his mouth. But I think maybe he's had this waxing and waning for like a couple of years. So she's like, he's going to feel so much better now. And he does. He's so much better, people. Uh, when they called me, so that was all like on Wednesday, right? When they called me yesterday, he was still in some pain, obviously. And so they prescribed some pain medication for him. So when I took Kelly to the airport yesterday morning, I stopped and picked up the pain meds, and then that's done the trick. He wanted to go out. When I brought him back from the vet Wednesday afternoon, after he got over being fully woozy, he was like up eating his cat food for eating his kibble for like 20 minutes. So he was hungry. And then he laid down next to his water dish, which is, he likes to be lazy lion and lie next to the water dish. And, so he sleeps and then puts his muzzle in the water and drinks. And so that was all good. So, and then yesterday afternoon, after I gave him the pain shot, like half an hour later, he was wanting to go outside. And last night he was doing his normal things. So cheers, he's better. And it wasn't that expensive either, so that was nice. I think it's interesting because the vet has me down as a paying customer because they do treat people who or treat the pets of people who can't pay. And so I'm fine with subsidizing that. So, but as part of all of this, when I was reporting to one of my friends the whole drama with Killian, she said, "You weigh your cats every week. That's incredibly organized, a level of organization that she felt like she couldn't reach." And I said, it's a habit. It's this I do weigh ins every Wednesday. And, I'm a big believer in this. If you build these habits, then they carry you through. And it's true of writing, it's true of many things. If you're just in the habit of getting up in the morning and making your bed and then doing yoga, then you will start to automatically do that. And yeah, Wednesdays is weighing cats day. And so I don't have to be organized. I have the habit. Uh, but like this week is totally disrupted. Um, I feel like, like Monday, Kelly and I went to see the movie, which was weird. And then Tuesday with the house guests and dinner and guests. And Wednesday, I ended up driving into town. Um, was it only one? No. Yeah, I guess just once doing all of those things. Yesterday I had to drive to town and back twice. And I talk like that's a huge journey. It's 20 minutes, but still, for someone who never leaves their house, it's a lot. So yeah, I had to take Kelly to the airport and pick up their pain meds and came back, did a little work in the afternoon. I had to take David to the dentist, came back. Today, people, I'm not leaving my house. I may not leave my house for the rest of the weekend. Um, I have my rescheduled hair appointment Monday. Oh, sorry. I tried to pause and it said it failed to pause. So you just got two massive sneezes. I'm really sorry. Apologies. I really thought it had paused. Ah, alas. Zencaster's being wonky this morning. Ah, I apologize for your eardrums. I really do. Ah, so, yeah, I think that if all goes as planned, I should not need to leave the house until Monday morning at 11 to get my hair done because this weekend I am going to work on the book. Have been revising. I'm 70% through the revision. Um, I'd hope to be 80% through by today, so that's not terrible. I'm going to crank on it and finish this revision today unless I collapse. I'm starting to adopt the method though of like working for an hour and then if I'm feeling really depleted, often I'll go do something, like dishes or, pick stuff up or, some kind of weeding, some kind of manual mindless chore. Um, I've also started doing naps. I might have become one of those writers who's like, write in the morning, take a nap, write, have lunch, take a nap, right? I might be mixing up my habitual schedule that way. But the naps are starting to feel very restorative. So I don't know that's an age thing or just an in life thing. Anyway, I'm gonna finish this revision today, which um will take me up through. I've got 17,500 words to go. So if I write 3,000 words a day over the following 6 days, I can do this. It's going to be cranking pretty hard. So I think that this whole write nap schedule might be the way to get myself through it. Please start now. Oh, excuse me. That was my Bluetooth speaker being intrusive. Maybe that didn't come through. Not like those explosive sneezes. I still feel bad about that. So it goes. Um, yeah, so it was great having people here. I loved having Kelly visit. I loved having writers over and hanging out. I'm really happy also to return to my hermitess lifestyle and with my cat okay now and focusing on this book. So next week on Tuesday morning, I go to San Antonio for an overnight. Speaking of disruptive schedules, I have to fly to San Antonio to go to, I believe it is, I had to look at my schedule to check. This time it paused, like it would have been okay if it didn't pause. Shaking my tiny fist. Uh, it's the Mountains and Plains Independent Bookseller Association. So we're doing this. What is it? It's the romance author something. None of these things. Oh, here, romance author. It's my fault, not theirs. Romance author speed round and signing reception. So it should be really fun. And I'm glad I looked at this because they had told me that they would send me the questions for like the speed round stuff so I could be ready. They're intended to be answered in 30 seconds or less. So I see that they put the questions here in the wonderful Google sheet that the tour team puts together for me. It's a good thing I saw that because I didn't realize the questions were there. So now I can study. But that's just an overnight. I stay overnight and then I come back very early Wednesday morning. I'm flying into Santa Fe so I can have my last therapy appointment before the long hiatus, at which point I will have to self medicate in any number of ways. Um, so I think that's all for now. I've gone longer than 20 minutes and I'm going to get to work and finish this bloody revision and hopefully write lots and lots of words this weekend. I'm going to do laundry and write words, and that's my whole plan. We have a winter storm coming in, so I think it'll work out just fine to tuck in and do that. So I hope you all have exactly the weekend you want to have. Uh, think about building a habit to carry you through. 30 days of doing the same thing every day builds a habit. Start small. And yeah, you all take care. Bye bye.